One that was
So-
different wood for each stove.
So your mom could have supper ready.
That's right.
I tell you, I cut wood every damn day, every day of the year,
With a cross.
morning and night. We never had enough wood cut to last all
Yeah.
week.
Not all winter, no.
So that'd been quite a chore then.
Yeah, well,
And you stopped cutting, you started getting cold, didn't
that's
you?
right. It
Now,
took a
did
lot
you-
of wood to keep one of them old wood houses, old frame houses going.
So
Yeah.
you had enough land to, you had your own trees, dead trees?
Yeah, we got enough that we could cut her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to ask, was there a spring down there by that old Buffalo house?
No.
Or-
Yeah, there used to be. But if it was real dry weather, there was no
Go
spring.
dry, huh?
We had a well between there and the top of the hill. It was 27 feet deep.
Yeah.
And
Somebody was by a house used to be or something? Or
no, there was no house there.
There wasn't never no house. Huh.
There was another wet weather spring right there. But now it went dry real quick.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're walking around the country yet, you find a good spring around.
That's right.
And you look around close to that. There'll be an old house place there somewhere.
Right.
Not very far away.
Well, there you had
That's
to.
why the house was there. They went through to find where the water was at.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
You had to.
They built their house.
Now, you grew up, like you said, there was 10 of you and 3 rooms. And now when you go down the road and you see houses that have lots of rooms and maybe 2 people, what do you think when you see that?
Hey, boy, they got it made.
That's just like Jerry and Carolyn Foose just built that house over there. There's 12,000 square feet in it.
Gee,
Yeah.
that's a hotel.
2 people.
2 people?
But no, seriously, what comes to your mind when you see that? See, we had 4 rooms at Grandma's, and I never thought of it at the time as being crowded. And now I have a house with counting the basement, there's like 4,000 square feet. There's 2 of us in it, and I think we have way too much room. We don't need that much room. And then I see people that live in those houses, and basically one of them's upstairs and one of the downstairs, and they hardly ever talk. But they don't have to. They're not close together. You know what I'm saying? In 4 rooms, you were always walking around each other.
Yeah.
You were always communicating and talking. And now they say the biggest problem in marriage is communication. But see, I just think we got too much room to roam around in. You don't have to talk.
I wonder sometimes a big house like that one up there, if you ever see one another.
Well, you
You
don't
wouldn't
have
have
to.
to, would you?
You don't have to. That's the whole thing. You know, you slept together, you eat together, you were close together, and now you don't eat together. A lot of people say they snore, so they get in another bedroom. I mean,
Well, that's like when all of us, we were piled up. We never thought nothing about it being crowded.
you
That's just the
didn't.
way it
You
was.
had a
wasn't it?
space, your place to sleep.
That's just the
Right.
way it was.
And then we didn't have any heat after midnight, so the person next to you was warm. You know, they were warm.
The fire went
And the
out.
fire went out. Yeah. You needed each other, is what I'm saying, to stay warm.
Help
And
keep warm.
you needed each other to get the chores done, and now it's like people don't need each other. Not really.
Well, that's about right. They really don't, I don't guess.
I mean, I just wondered, you know, growing up one way and you see the world different.
It's completely different. That's just like people say, well, look at the good old times. Look what $1 would spend by. We didn't have $1.
Right.
Yeah.
But the things we did, we didn't know any better.
Nobody else had any either, so you
No.
didn't think nothing about it.
We
I mean,
didn't-
like at
We didn't
school,
think
or-
anything about it.
You didn't have much, but nobody else did either, so you didn't think much about it.
You get up and walk someplace, you didn't think anything about it.
That was the only way to go.
How big was your world then? I mean, you didn't get a daily newspaper. Probably didn't even get a weekly newspaper. So how'd you find out what was?
Springs Valley Herald.
Oh, the way we got it, Dad would go to town on Saturday, and he'd get all the news. He was like the town crier. You know?
Right.
He'd
Okay.
come home, he'd tell you all the news.
Okay. So it's by word of mouth,
Yeah.
That's just about right.
and we know what happens when words get passed from person to person to
It
person.
gets kind of
I remember Dad
off
coming
base,
home.
don't it?
I was real young at that time. I remember Dad coming home saying Lindbergh flew around the world.
Yeah.
I remember that we saw an old plane go puttering over, but I thought maybe that might have been it.
Well, it could have been, I
He was
guess.
there looking for
It was
you.
an old biplane, you know, an old timers.
Yeah. Actually, we lived in a different world altogether
Yeah.
to what to do today.
If you went to town, you got all the news you could get because you know that's the only way you could get any back
Went
there.
town once a week.
Back
maybe.
over there by Antioch, where I live.
Right.
Well, you didn't go to town oftener than once a week.
Oh, no.
And
Yeah,
if you
sure.
could stretch things, it'd be 2 weeks.
It was about
Well, they had the peddler.
about seven
Later
or eight,
on, they had the peddler wagon.
7 or 8 miles to town from where I live.
Yeah.
Now, what did you go to town for? You
Get
say
some
you went.
buy some groceries.
Groceries.
Well, when you
I
say
mean-
groceries, what was that?
Well,
Ham and beans,
your
potatoes,
sugar,
beans and
Baking
potatoes.
powder
sugar,
and-
and salt, and stuff like that.
Coffee maybe. You could.
What?
And once in a while, they'd buy a loaf of bread.
Not very
That was-
often.
no.
I didn't get too much of that.
I didn't get that light bread.
That's
You just want
store-bought
light
one.
bread. And,
You get too
Light
much of that
bread.
store-bought bread. You,
Yeah, if you
Mom made the bread
yeah.
Uh-huh.
out of water.
Now, ooh,
You know, she got so she could make pretty good water biscuits.
is that right?
Absolutely.
Oh, gee.
they
I
call
didn't mind them at all. I ate them
My
all.
mother made 50 biscuits of a morning.
Well, I
50.
imagine she would. Had to get each one of you a biscuit.
And they were all gone.
50. So that would be. But you took them to school. You said.
Yeah, we took them for lunch.
Because I was thinking that would be
If
5
there's any left,
apiece.
She did, in the regular pan, she cut them out with a glass.
Yeah, you had a glass. Yeah.
But then, you know, you always had some odd dough. She'd get up and make the biscuit out of it.
Maybe pat it out and make some more biscuits.
Yeah. Well,
And that was-
but whatever was the last bunch
Yeah.
was made,
One
it
biscuit.
might be a biscuit that big.
Yeah.
And you put it in a wood-burning stove oven.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you get the temperature? I mean, I know.
All right. Now, my mother could open that oven door. She could tell you right
Yeah.
quick where it was ready to bake or not. Yours could too, and yours
Probably.
could
I never
too.
heard her say that, but I imagine she could, yeah. If I had to.
They knew. They could open that door. They
Yeah.
knew.
You saw a few of those old wood stove ovens, you know, had a
Had it.
thermometer on
That's
it.
monitor on the oven.
That's
But
for the
ours
rich
never
people.
did.
That's for the rich people. I
Yeah.
guess.
Uh,
You had a thermometer.
But they knew.
Well, tell me some of your old-time remedies for when you got sick.
Now, probably I don't know too many of them.
Well, that's okay. 1 or 2 is fine. If you remember any. You remember
But I
any, Marie?
remember. I don't remember what she used altogether. But if we had a real bad cold, they'd make up what they called a poultice or something and put it on your chest.
Onions,
It
wasn't
wasn't very comfortable.
it? Onions. Was
Well,
it,
Onions were
was it
probably-
fried onions or cooked onions?
Just so it smelled bad, that was
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah.
Garlic, I think they used garlic, didn't they?
Well,
They
whatever.
used a lot of old stuff and they put it on
Put a
band around
put a
like a diaper and
Yeah.
put it on there and fasten it on there. And it doesn't work.
Broke up that
Yeah, it sure did.
stuff in your chest, yeah. How about sore throat? Did you have anything you took for a sore throat?
That's the only thing I ever knew of. You gargled with salt.
well, Doc
Done
Miller
that.
used to
Mm-hmm.
pinch throat with mercurochrome.
Was I doing it?
Was
I've seen
iodine?
people- Yeah,
Golly,
that
that
too.
burn,
I've seen
that
them
burn
do
your
it with
throat
iodine.
out.
They did, your olds was iodine? Paint your throat with iodine?
The doctor did that.
Yeah, doctor did that. Mm-hmm.
When my cousin died. You remember when Harold, did you remember when
Yeah.
Harold died?
I remember going out there once or twice to see him. You know, me and Mom would go out to see him.
And
But we wasn't allowed in. I wasn't allowed in the room. With, you know, of course he had diphtheria.
Dr. Miller said that was what he had Quincy sore throat.
Yeah,
He didn't. He died from diphtheria.
yeah, diphtheria. Yeah.
Schmutzler was the undertaker, and as soon as he seen him, he says he's wrong. That's diphtheria.
I think he was about the same age as I was. Harold was. I think
He died in 1932.
Was
A
he
lot
about
of,
4 or 5?
a lot of young kids died in those days.
That's
I
what the
don't think
statistics
he's
say.
that old.
Just didn't know what to do for him.
Right, didn't know medicine really, did you?
No. I had an aunt, and wasn't there two of Mom's brothers died?
Dale and
Walter Dale and somebody, and my aunt's name was Irma. She was older than Mom, I think. She was 13 when she died. They're buried over here at the old Miller Schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
At the Miller.
Miller Graveyard.
The Miller Cemetery, it was by the schoolhouse.
So growing up during the Depression like that, clothes are hard to come by, food wasn't plentiful. And so when the CC camp opportunity came by, did you look at it as an opportunity or just a way to get
Yes,
out?
it was. You went in there. You was actually paid $30 a month, but 25 of it was sent home.
Yeah, they sent
You
that
got
Okay.
on.
5.
You only got 5.
You was really working to support the family, wasn't it?
That's right. That's
Okay.
what it was really meant.
That's
for,
what it
to
was meant,
support your
yeah.
family.
So I never looked at it that way, and it's something I didn't know. It probably had in the books, but if they did, I didn't see that part. And so that would help develop a sense of social responsibility or extended family responsibility, even as a young man. You're helping the family out.
See, you went in there, you lived under Army regulations. You didn't drink, you worked.
Okay?
You worked 6 or 7 hours a day. 5
They
days.
built bridges and dams.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you.
Spring Mill Park, they
Spring
put
Mill
that
Park,
on.
they built that.
Spring Mill Park. Yeah, they did.
You knew Jim Dixon, didn't you? Jim Dixon? He helped build Spring Mill
I
Park.
did too.
He was in the CCs.
Now, was that a choice rather than going in the service?
Yeah, it was. You had a choice. if
Most
you
of them
wanted to.
seemed to me like would rather go in the service. I remember a guy named Louis Turpin. Did you know Louis Turpin? They lived out in Northwest. He was in the CCs, and he'd come by there. We was working, cutting logs out way out there in the country. And he'd walk up through there with his old uniform on, green one, I think's what color they were. And he'd just gripe and carry on about that CC outfit. He said as soon as he got a chance, he was going to join the Army. And I think he did.
Well,
You had to be a certain age to join the Army, and you could get in the CCs younger, couldn't you?
well, you had to be 16 or older,
Yeah,
and you could join the Army at 16.
yeah.
But this Perkiser, I can't think which one it was. It was George's brother. He went into the Army when he was 16. They drugged, it seemed like at that time, $15 a month.
I don't know.
And he stayed in there and retired 30 years.
30 years. Oh.
30 years.
Yeah, but he changed over to the Army, didn't he?
Well, I mean, he went
He
into
was in
the
the
Army
Army. Okay. Yeah, all right.
What
when he was
Perkiser
16
that?
and stayed there 30 years.
Hmm.
And I don't think when he retired, he drawed only, they were getting only $21 a month.
It depends on when. I remember when they started paying, when I first went in the Army, they paid me $21 a month, the first month.
Yeah.
But from the next month on, it was $50. Oh, we got a big
Yeah.
raise.
But the 3 C's was, it was a good thing.
Yeah, I think it was.
It saved a lot of families that didn't
Mm-hmm.
have anything to
Yeah.
spend, didn't have to eat. They got $25 a month.
That's what they lived on a lot of times.
That's
wasn't
right. They
Yeah.
lived on that $25. And but you lived good too. You lived under Army regulations. You were fed the same as the Army would be. Well, you actually lived under Army regulations.
So you lived in a barrack then with other
Yeah,
young
yeah.
men.
Barrack,
Yeah, they had bears.
All one big room, not individual rooms.
big one.
One big room.
And
So see, I'm just getting a picture here now. You lived in a little bitty house with a whole bunch of people in little bitty rooms. In other words, you all lived together. You went to the 3C camp where you lived in a big barracks all together. And so everything was together. And today in our society, everything is, we are so proudly possessive of our individualism. We want to be